Whoa. So many people on the screen.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode number 72, Hobby Hotline. I'm your pal Val. With us today is, let me get that potograph, Drew Herndon and Logan Ward at King NASCAR. And we have, of course, John Newman and guest, we'll call Mike from Baseball Collector and Bench Clear Media here as well today. So good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing good, man. Father's Day weekend, about do the show and then go to a baseball game, go do a lot of fun stuff with the kids. So, can't complain. Fun weekend.
Yeah, it's a great day. I'm kind of like Drew. I'm going to be busy today. I've got a card show after this. Then I've got to ship a PSA order and a whole bunch of other things.
Maybe get it back next year.
I'm not supposed to be on, guys. I'm sort of bogarting the episode, or at least this morning. I'm not going to stay the whole time, but as some know, a few weeks back, a couple weeks ago, I lost my brother at age 51, and Steve, and the outpouring from the hobby community, thoughts of condolences, messages. I even got some cards in the mail, some gifts in the mail. It just was tremendous, overwhelming. Didn't expect that sort of reaction to that. And I just want to say from not only just myself, but my family as well, sincere thank you from the bottom of all our hearts. It's a tough time, but that kind of stuff makes it a little bit easier and much appreciated. And, we got to keep going. He would have wanted it that way, and that's what we do. But I thought it was very appropriate to, at least, I said a lot of thank yous, via text or messages, but I wanted to physically and verbally express that from not just me, but from the Newman and Novak families as well. So thanks, everybody, and much appreciated. I also knew Mike Moynihan was going to be on this morning, so that's another reason I hijacked my way into the show as well, to get to talk with him about some upcoming events and how we might be a small part of that as well. So.
Awesome. Well, once again, John, our condolences and everything. Hope you guys are doing okay through all of that. I know it's an incredibly tough time. But Mike, thanks so much for joining us today, man. So as John said, you guys have got some stuff. So as John said, you guys have some stuff going on here coming up pretty soon. Tell us a little bit about everything, what's going on.
So in a couple
and the internet goes down.
Well, let's this with last. Everybody know that. I came up with this idea of what can we do to get the community together. Am I talking? Can you hear me?
You're choppy, Mike.
The internet went out for a second, but I think we're good now.
Hold on.
Hey there, Mike.
Technology.
Let's see.
I'm trying to make this work, guys. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's a live calling show, so it's all right. It just shows.
Well, that's what happens when you live in Texas in a big place.
My wife said to take my headphones off.
No, you're good now. We can hear you good now, so you're good.
Okay, so is that better? I hope.
Yep.
Good. So last year when the national didn't happen, I came up with this idea of a way to get the community together and still celebrate that period that we all just didn't get to hang out. And so I came up with this idea of Hobby Palooza. I didn't name it. I didn't know what to call it. And a buddy of mine, Joe, came up with the name Hobby Palooza. And so there you go. Hobbypalooza was born. I went around to a bunch of different content creators out in the YouTube netherworld, and I filled up every slot for 3 straight days of constant live streams. That's what it is. In about 3 or 4 days, I was done. I had everybody wanted to participate and do something to celebrate. And so that's where the idea was born, hatched, and Bench Clear Media, which I'm a part of, with Ty Wilson and Pat Geek and a bunch of guys that have our collaborative channel. That is kind of the coordinating effort behind it. Ty does the website. The website, by the way, if people want to go check it out and see what's going to be happening, it's thehobbypalooza.com, all one word. And yeah, it's coming up here again. We decided to do it again as kind of a ramp up to the national, kind of a, hey, let's get excited. Let's, celebrate the community, do all that again. And so that's happening on July 10th and 11th this year. So a couple of weeks before the national, we'll be doing that. We've got a huge, awesome lineup set. It's not on the website just yet, but it's coming. And anyway, y'all are going to actually be kicking it off. Hobby Hotline is the first show on Saturday, 10 a.m. Central. Bam, y'all are going to be kicking it off. So I'm really excited that you guys are going to be a part of it this year. John was a part of it last year. Actually, I met John for the first time last year, interviewing him and Mike Summer for a podcast type hour. And I know we're going to be just having lots of great content creators, people just doing kind of what they want. And it's going from, it's not hosted on, what's great about it is y'all are going to run your Hobby Hotline, for example, on your Hobby Hotline channel. We're just going to point everyone there, if they want to be a part of Hobbypalooza, that's what it is. And that's where to go for the first hour of content. And the next hour, hey, go to this channel because they're up next, and then so on and so forth. It's 12 hours of content, both Saturday and Sunday. Couldn't be more excited about it. It was a lot of fun last year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot last year, and I love how you guys do that, the pointing to the different channels and highlighting a lot of the content creators that there are out there, because there's so many good ones that there are right now. And we are honored, by the way, to kick off Hobbypalooza too. That's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that. That's a cool one. But
yeah, man, I'm already sweating. That's a lot of pressure right off the bat. Like we have to be the tone setters, but no, it's a great event, and like you said, Mike, it sort of sets the tone leading into the national, which we are going to get this year, unlike last year. And the best part, it's absolutely free. It costs everyone nothing to participate and watch and enjoy the content. And just like the hobby booming, the content creation side has exploded as well. So I think you're going to have probably some people on the outside looking in maybe this year, but that's what happens sometimes. But going to have plenty, I'm sure, plenty of shows. Hopefully this show can kind of get it off to a nice start, and should be a fun weekend and a good primer to get the juices flowing as the national draws closer.
Yeah, it starts to bring you in, get that national itch, prepping you for it, for those long days. But that's cool. That's really cool.
Does anybody have any questions? Is there any questions in the chat about Hobbypalooza, or do you guys have any questions?
Let's see. Yeah, guys, remember, please call in with any questions that you do have. And if you have any questions about it this year, let us know. The man himself's here. You can answer them. Please put them into the chat. I know he'd like to answer them, and it's going to be something cool. Who are some of the people that you got lined up so far?
Well, I mean, the star of the show is going to be Hobbypalooza. From there, it's downhill. I mean, not Hobbypalooza, Hobby Hotline.
Well, that's just going to set the tone.
Friday. Well, we're interviewing Emily from Tops. We're going to do that recorded because they've got a big event the weekend of the Hobbypalooza, so they won't be able to be there live. But Ty and I are going to interview her, kind of get Tops ideas, what they're planning for the national, kind of what's in store for Tops. A lot's changed for Tops since last year. They've been bought out and sold and public or whatever, all that stuff. And so I'm excited to talk to Emily. Tops is providing, they're going to be our main sponsor. They're providing tons and tons of giveaway stuff that we're going to be able to give away throughout the weekend. And that's going to be great. I don't know. She goes, she's sending it all to me. So I get to be the guy that's distributing all of it this year. And, we've got, again, it's mainly YouTube focused, but I know Ty's doing a podcaster panel, and I'll have an hour talking about vintage, most likely. That's kind of my thing. And, we've got Filmington and Micah. Like, if you're in the YouTube community, you know who these people are. Silver Jackify and Ray from Philly and Wesker Griff and Pepino Man. And, we've got it's, again, 25 hours, probably around 25 hours of total content, all live stream. The chat are crazy during these. It's so much fun because you'll get literally a few hundred people watching your live stream, and it is just nonstop chatting, and everybody's chatting with each other. And then, hey, we'll see you on the next one, and they all hop over to the next channel, and it's a whole lot of fun and a crazy day of sitting in front of my computer trying to coordinate everything.
Well, I got a question, Mike. It's one of those questions I ask, and I sort of know the answer, I think, ahead of time. But for everyone else listening, is this, the plan probably going forward is to make this a yearly event around the same time, just sort of a tradition, if you will?
Assuming everybody keeps enjoying it, yeah. We don't want to put out stuff that nobody's having fun with, but Jeremy from Sports Card Live is going to have an hour. So there's some guys that did it last year that couldn't do it this year. There's some guys that couldn't do it last year that can do it this year. And then some new guys that I've never met Jeremy. But he reached out when I kind of put out hey, because it's not like I'm sitting here trying to be restrictive on who can be in it. I put out an open-ended invitation. If you want to be a part of it, send me an email and we can work something out. It's meant to be as inclusive as possible. I know most of the guys on their live streams will be on StreamYard like this, and they'll have multiple, not just the content creators themselves, but other guys in the community that they're bringing in to be part of whatever they're discussing in their topic for their hour. And it's amazing how fast an hour can go.
Yeah.
You're, reading chat and hanging out with your friends. You're like, oh, I got to go. I got to, pitch it to the next guy. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if that answered your question, John, but yes, we plan on doing it every year.
Yeah. What about as this thing gets bigger, like you said, you get more people involved, maybe even, maybe twice a year or a longer version, maybe a week-long version even, not to make you work harder or more, but maybe a little bit of that. But I'm sure I like anything, like you said, if the demand's there, is that something maybe you've thought about? Potentially this could be a week long, almost like the national, but sort of the virtual equivalent of it. You got Tops involved, which is huge, and maybe even expanding it to more days, or have two events even, maybe even do regional hobby paloozas, right? Mm-hmm. We got our East Coast hobby palooza. I know sometimes I don't like that because it's almost like hey, you're not on this part of the country, and but at the same time, you could do something like that where you incorporate the 4 time zones, let's say.
Sounds like you just appointed yourself chief of Hobby Palooza.
We'll have to go over the pay scale, but yeah,
Yes, we've thought about, to answer your question directly, yes, we've thought about doing it like one right now, kind of this time frame to hype the national and just get everybody excited about the hobby, and then one kind of in the doldrums of November or December when there's not a whole lot going on, give something that people can get excited about. The reality is it's a lot of work, and I'm not afraid of hard work. It's a question of if it gets big enough and people are enjoying it, it's great, but we'll do whatever the public wants at the end of the day. And we'll do a survey at the end of it. We did last year. It was funny. We got a bunch of survey responses, and a lot of I can be very self-deprecating. I don't mind when people give me crap about anything, and I used to care very much. I don't care anymore, but I got a lot in the comments of, less baseball collector, whatever. It was kind of funny reading the comments of people putting in the survey. But we put out a survey that we're trying to give something that the people want. We don't want to just do something that falls on deaf ears. And we're very receptive to feedback and want to try to continue to improve it over time.
Well, the fact, Mike, I don't want to. The fact that you care and you care what the people want is really a testament to the event itself. When you're thinking about the consumers or the people that are checking in, listening in, interacting. The fact that you care about, hey, do you like this? What do you want to see? What do you don't want to see? That's refreshing. When we talk about customer service in the last year or two. It's not been a high priority for some, but the fact that that you care, that means is important, and probably going to lead. It's already successful. It's going to lead to that event probably getting not only bigger but even better.
We hope so.
And I really love the inclusive aspect and how it goes, and like I said, brings all the channels together. Because I mean, like Hobby Hotline, that's what we want to do, is bring the community together, not just content hosts, but the community, everybody watching, everyone from all the other shows, bring everybody together, have a little fun, talk the hobby, So once again, honored to be kicking it off. Hopefully, we can do a good job for that for you.
Y'all will do great. I'm excited about y'all being a part of it.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna jump off since it's not my week. I just wanted again to talk to Mike about this great event. Thank everyone out there once again for really picking us up during some down couple weeks, and again, much appreciated. So everyone out there, guys on the stage here, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep.
Inside joke. Me and John, you're right, John. You are uglier than me. So
I wear that belt. I'm holding that belt up like this. All right,
have a good one, John.
Take care.
Well, if there's other questions for me, great. If not, I got a bunch of work to do on my ranch today.
Sure.
So let me.
We'll let you. Well, I don't see any in the chat. It's pretty quiet this morning, guys. Make sure to call in, hit us up, everything. But no, man, get back. I know you got a lot of work to do to get ready for that and everything else that you guys do over there. But keep up the awesome work. The content's great, and really looking forward to this year's Hobby Palooza. It's going to be awesome.
Thanks, Drew. All right, see you guys later.
Good to see you.
You have a great day. Happy Father's Day.
There you go. So starting off the show a little different today, but I don't know if you guys watched it last year. I did. I really wasn't aware of it until it started because I stay off of Twitter as much as possible because I have to use all the other socials for all of my work, and I need somewhere where I can keep my sanity. So I stay off of Twitter as much as possible. So I didn't really see too much about it until it had begun. But it was awesome. It was great. And he puts out some incredible content. So make sure you do go check him out. As I said, he's part of Bench Clear Media, Baseball Collector on YouTube. Mike's a wonderful guy with some incredible content. And it's a really cool thing. I think that's a really neat thing he's doing for the hobby. It's almost like Hobby Hotline on steroids, just putting it with everyone's channels. I love the not trying to get everybody to, sign into this, and then we'll click you in when it's your time. I like moving it to everyone's channels because then all of those people, you have a chance to gain the new followers that ultimately, everyone does want to add new subscribers. And if you're just adding someone else into a StreamYard chat to talk to them, they can't really do that easily. They have to go find the YouTube channel. They have to go find this. And the way he's set it up to where it bounces back and forth, well, you've got, you hop right in, you click subscribe, boom. I mean, I really like the way he's got that set up. And we actually have a caller right now, so we're going to bring him in, a regular. You guys very familiar with him. He's been in the chat today. Mr. Kevin Jones. What's up, bud?
Hey, yeah, good morning, everybody. I've been away from the last few weeks. out traveling and stuff, as the world's kind of opening up again. But yeah, I'm excited for the Hobby Palooza. I'm glad Mike and his crew are doing it. It was so much fun last year, and I just wanted. I'm really excited that y'all are a part of it. I think it's a great way to kick it off too, because your show is kind of the spirit of Hobby Palooza too, where you give kind of everybody a voice, and it's going to be really fun. And I'll just say, for those who weren't able to participate last year or who are listening, somebody usually always does like a late night live stream kind of after party.
Yeah.
And they're really, really fun. And again, it's kind of a bunch of longtime collectors, old school content creators who get together and just
they end up feeling like the end of, like, I was just at the Dallas and the Philly show. Like, I've been traveling, like you said, I hit both of those shows, and it's almost like the after hour parts of those shows where everybody's just, had that long day, but had a ton of fun, maybe had a couple drinks in them or 5, having a lot of fun, doing some cool stuff. So
yeah,
they are great.
Yeah. It's good to see everybody. I just wanted to drop in and say hello quick. I also stumbled into a card show accidentally yesterday, which was kind of
nice.
fun. I hadn't been to one. It was a mall show, but didn't even know what was going on. And it was interesting. It's changed a lot. The card show landscape, I guess, has changed a lot. But it was really fun.
No, before I know you said you just want to hop on for a second, but I'm going to keep you on for a minute because I've been to 2 pretty big shows in the last month. What do you mean? What do you mean by the change of the landscape? What have you noticed?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. Yeah.
So the last show that I was at was this same show. We don't have a lot of shows in Albuquerque. It's traditionally kind of mall shows. We used to have kind of conference room type shows, but it seems like it's gravitated to the mall. But definitely bigger.
Yeah.
I'd say there was probably 40 tables, maybe, with about 12 dealers. Albuquerque's a smaller collecting community, but most of the dealers were new people who had been into the hobby for about the last year or so. I only recognized 3 of the kind of old school, long-term kind of dealers who I've always run into. And then a lot of people, because I was asking people, how long they'd been collecting, just to kind of get a feel. And most of them it had just been a year. And it was, what I noticed the most was that it was kind of a lot of retail. A lot of retail like Wax, Select Football, and the like, Prism basketball blasters, that kind of stuff. And then just it seemed like everybody had display cases of Select Football for some reason. So it was really fun. The guys that were there were really nice, but it seemed to me, and I don't want to spook everybody, but it seemed like everybody had the same stuff. It felt like a weird flashback to like.
Now I can easily see that if you're at a show like that where it's a lot of new collectors. I'm anxious to visit like the Hickory show and some of the smaller shows around here, even though the Hickory show's blown up, maybe a different one now, but to see if we kind of see the same thing, because at the bigger shows I've seen the opposite. I've seen the newer the guys that have been in the industry. When I went to my first national and was meeting everybody, those type of guys that have been gone for a year and weren't at the Dallas show, weren't out at all, are finally starting to get out and set up again. I did see a ton, like you said, people with stacks upon stacks of retail and a lot of Select. You were right. A lot of people selling Select right now in some bins, and there's definitely a lot more new collectors out there. But at least the 2 that I went to, the Philly show especially surprised me. It was a smaller show compared to Dallas, but very strong on anything from vintage to modern. So I guess it really kind of depends on where you live. But like you said, in Albuquerque, I would expect with the smaller, I've been out there, I've recorded an album out there. When you in a smaller collecting community, you would think, you're probably going to have the newer people of the hobby in there.
Yeah. The vibe was really good though. Like it was a lot of younger guys, but they were really, really cool and willing to move inventory. Like I said, I had to go run to the ATM to get some cash because I just went to buy a pair of sunglasses, and there was some good stuff. I ended up picking up a few things, so it was
nice.
At a good, what I feel like was a good value. So it was a lot of fun, and just nice to see this stuff kind of opening up again.
Yeah. I'm going to a excuse me. I'm going to a card show later today. It's going to be about the same size as what you've seen. There'll be about 40 tables or so. But what I've seen here in the Memphis area is it's like a 50-50 mix. We'll see the old school collectors with vintage, and then we'll see a lot of the newer guys with, their newer, shinier cards, and and a lot of graded stuff actually, which I was really surprised because for years here we didn't see a lot of graded, so it's kind of taken off, and it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, one of the dealers had a $20 slab box that I was thinking of going back, and that it had some pretty nice stuff in there that I was thinking of going back and taking a peek through.
Yeah, you can find some gems there because I was at the Dallas show with Drew and Val, and I went through like you said, like a $20 slab box, and I found a couple of cool cards in there, and I bought them, and they were like $12 or something like that each, and it's like, wow, I can't even get these things graded for that now.
Well, that's that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is it's like at this point, it's like the cost of the grade. So,
but see, the thing that you got to remember, and that's why there's so many of those cards graded. A year and a half ago, you could grade for that cheap. You could get your cards, but 2 years ago, you could easily grade that stuff that cheap and make money on it. Now, of course, we expected them to go up, but I mean, they're still at a break-even point. I mean, they're easily at a break-even point in those boxes where you're thinking you're getting an absolute steal because you can't grade it now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they were probably subbing at $7 a piece, right, and like a bulk sub. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Back when I first started subbing with PSA back in 2005, I had one bulk order of like 200 and something cards, and they gave me a price of $4.75.
Exactly.
Back in 2005.
Good old days, right?
Yeah, those were the good old days, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, Nat, we need an announcement.
Well, thanks, guys. I just wanted to hop in and kind of share my card show experience. It was really fun. It was good to see that show back. The last thing I'll leave with, though, which is really kind of a funny story and a change of the hobby over the last 16 months, is the last time I was at that card show in January of 2020. I picked up a LeBron Bazooka rookie,
nice,
and a LeBron Bazooka rookie mini. Both of those for $20 a piece. Had since submitted them to PSA. They came back 9s, but those days are gone for now. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Being able to just see like a random LeBron Ross sitting out there for $20 rookie, I'm like, oh, that seems like a good price,
Right. So, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining the show, Kevin.
Totally, guys. Good to see you later, Val.
See you, Kev.
See you. All right. Thanks, Mr. Jones, for joining the show.
I was going to say, I was at the Salisbury show in North Carolina, and Drew, was like what you say, it was like a mix of new and old, and people were going after like the low stuff, the junk wax. People were just loading up in their arms, and this one guy had a table just full of junk wax, $10 a box, and all the different Coca-Cola series, and that sticks out, and some other stuff, as well as the factory sets and stuff like that. So it was cool to see some of the higher end stuff, and then also getting some deals and scratching, I guess, that itch to open packs and stuff.
Well, you guys know that Donruss used to be here in Memphis, and our local hobby shop, I was there a few weeks ago, and they bought cases and cases and cases of junk wax, Donruss junk wax, that apparently an employee had who worked at Donruss, and I bought a box of 89 Donruss baseball, like you said, like $10. I'm gonna bust it and see if I can get some King Griffey Jr. rookies. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there was tons. I mean, I saw I mean, I was there for content. So, I mean, I was literally videotaping deals going down all day. And it was, at both of the shows that I saw, it was a ton. I mean, you guys were at the Dallas show. You could find anything you wanted. The same way at the Philly show. It was enormous and it was packed. And I loved, and there were a lot of dealers that made me really happy. A lot of dealers that you just hadn't seen in a long time at big shows, hadn't seen set up, that were coming back out, that were setting back up. And, I think that kind of goes in with what we were talking about a couple weeks ago and on the show of, getting back to normal when we were all at the Dallas show together, getting, at least in the card show sense, getting everything back, getting everything flowing, and the national announcing that it's on. I'm working on exactly what date we'll be doing Hobby Hotline on there. But, you've got all this. I mean, there's so much excitement going on in the hobby right now. And it's a good thing to see because, to be honest, at least from my perspective, there's so much negative that's going on right now and so much just complaining that it's nice to see excitement for something. And going to the card shows, you see the excitement. You don't see people sitting there writing novels complaining about something that means absolutely nothing or is pointless. You actually get to see people having fun, and so it's nice to see.
Yeah, this national is going to be what I'm going to call
insane.
The hug my friends national.
This is going to be huge.
Everybody, I've got so many friends that I haven't seen in years now, just because of COVID. And when I see everybody, and you guys know who you are, expect a hug because it's coming.
Well, it's a good thing you said that because, nowadays, and I ran into it this weekend in Philly. Philly up there, they're a lot more strict than Dallas is. Obviously, right now with COVID, you didn't know whether to handshake, high five, hug, elbow. You don't know what to do anymore. Everyone puts out something different, and you just look like an idiot for like 5 seconds. But hey, it works. But hey, Mazlosopher, great comment, Terrence Mann. Guys, I wanted to talk about this. We kind of talked about it before the show, and this is a perfect segue because he just threw this right in there. We're in the two hugs. John wants 2 hugs, so John gets 2 hugs. But
got it.
But we've got the NBA playoffs going on right now, and one of the staples of the hobby, if you were collecting before the huge boom, that's been going on the last year and a half, there was always that. It was known as the playoff bump. You go to the playoffs, you hold your guys, you hold them towards, when they start to go towards that championship, when they're pushing towards the playoff run. And if you're looking to sell, that's when you look to sell. In basketball, in particular this year, those bumps aren't really occurring. And in a lot of cases, some of them are dropping. And now Terrence Mann is an exception to the rule, but that's because he was literally in a 25-cent bin, and everyone that's at a card show today is pulling him out of all of them because his cards just skyrocketed. But we're not seeing that playoff bump, so to speak, that we're used to seeing, at least in basketball. And I just wanted to know, what do you guys think the reason for that is? Do you think was it baked in ahead of time, or is the playoff bump something that we should consider, or is it one of those things where, hey, he's playing well, maybe it's time to just move on?
I think it was baked in ahead of time. I mean, we've seen prices, skyrocket. So the prices were already there. Now, remember when we were in Dallas, the Grizzlies were playing, and John Morant was having some great games, and he did see a little bit of a bump while we were there. I mean, I think you noticed that, didn't you, Drew?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ja had him. You just looked at people like RJ Barrett. No bump, no love, no nothing throughout an absolutely incredible playoff run. You look at someone else quickly on the Knicks, another guy, absolutely nothing while he goes through a pretty stellar rookie campaign. Ja Morant, while he was putting up insane numbers when he was in there, absolutely nothing. When you get to all of these guys, Donovan Mitchell, a guy who was leading Utah and going on a Wade-esque type playoff run until the Clips bounced him. Nothing. There is no movement on those cards. And now I know, we're in the ebb, so to speak, of the market. but there's always going to be cards that are going to be going up and down. For every 5 you show me that are dropping, I can show you 10 that are going up, and vice versa. So that's always going to be how it is. But this is the time where normally those would be the people that you would be focusing on, yet nothing's happening.
Yeah, I agree. It is a strange time right now. I really don't know. Or like I said, the only thing I can think of is the prices were already there, and I guess people are just not willing to pay, higher prices. I mean, it's just kind of strange. I agree.
Yeah.
What about personality? Sometimes I've seen stuff where you have some great players, drivers, whatever, that just are just.
Well, yeah, that
killing
has
it.
something to do with Kevin Durant's, because he's a dick. So a lot his prices aren't going. He's going to have to do some amazing stuff for his prices to go up, just because he admits he's a dick. So,
Well, but sometimes I see, like with Zion, when all that Zion hype was going on and his prices were so high, and to me as an outsider, not collecting basketball, it seemed like not only was it baked in that he's won multiple championships and he's already headed to the Hall of Fame, and the guy hasn't even played a game yet. All kind of baked into that price. Now we see some of that in NASCAR with Haley Deegan and maybe Ty Gibbs, where their prices are really high right now. And they have not gotten to cup level. They're in some of these lower levels. But then you look at somebody like Kyle Busch,
right?
Won multiple championships, all these wins. I know you can't compare NASCAR to some of those sports, but you kind of can. But his cars are so cheap. But he also is one of those guys where he feeds off the negativity and people not liking him and the booze and everything else. And he does that bow to everybody. So I don't know how much collecting love he gets, but his cards are, undervalued, but he, is lights out.
Well, I want to touch on a couple of things that you just said, but I do want to answer 2 questions here in the chat. Kevin, will we see a finals bump? I think we will now, because the finals is going to be a bunch of people that haven't been there before. And so you're going to see new champions. You're going to see new guys emerge as guys with a ring. So you may see a finals bump on some of these guys. And Maslow, for anyone that got burned by Bol Bol, of all people, deserved to get burned by Bol Bol. You don't look at a man. You do not look at Bol Bol and say, yeah, let's go invest in them. Those people deserve to get burned by Bol Bol. But yeah, it's the basketball market in particular, the playoff market is shocking to me. It's something that I don't know if it's possibly the international market doesn't care as much. I don't know exactly what it is, but what it really came down to was this year, the LaMelo hype, the distribution method that came out that put Prism so high, which hit the tipping point, which caused everything to start to drop because a couple of companies got a little too greedy. And no, it's not Panini and Top, so stop saying it because it's not them. But a couple companies get a little too greedy, and this is kind of what you see as a result of it. But to not see a playoff bump on, for instance, a Donovan Mitchell-Silver when he's in the midst of, well, he was in the midst of an absolutely insane playoff run. To not see bumps on players like these are just things that we've never seen before. And it's going to be interesting to see the finals, but it does it trickle down to other sports? And that's something that's going to be interesting to see as well, because, baseball, you got pretty far ways away. Football be coming up soon. It's going to be interesting to see how the football market progresses throughout the year. But Val, when you were talking on NASCAR, Bean, I was saying in this instance, of course they're greedy. They're companies. They're supposed to be, apparently. But I was talking about in this instance of distribution. But
well, it's funny you bring that up because
you're talking about NASCAR. And you're talking about popularity. NASCAR is doing the same thing that football is doing, and what I love is they're starting to market their stars with their helmets off. They're starting to market the stars and not the car. And I do think that NASCAR is stepping up and becoming a lot bigger in the hobby than people think. I know it is a lot bigger in the hobby than people think, and I think that they're getting there with getting sponsorship, like, obviously sponsorship's a big part of NASCAR, but getting on TV, being that guy instead of the NFL guy that they've signed, getting the NASCAR guys on TV, they do have some marketable people, and it is undervalued. I think NASCAR, I've been saying it for years, soccer and NASCAR, two of the biggest markets that are going to explode. Soccer's kind of already there right now. I see NASCAR on its way up fast.
Now, one thing I don't think we've talked about, but we noticed it this last week. You were talking about the distribution methods and some companies trying to be, I guess, overreach, whatever. But so the 2021 Chronicles is set to release here soon.
Yeah.
The pre-sale they were at $250 a box. Now, this is going to include Jeff Gordon for the first time. Well, last week we saw one of the big three break and drop it down to $150.
Wow.
So $100 drop. And so another one followed suit. I expect a third one now. So I don't know so basically our pre-sale jumped up, but NASCAR collectors are patient, and we, have a long history or whatever. And, somebody on Twitter said, hold the line.
Yeah.
So they're back down to, I think before pre-pandemic, they were about 125. So it's a little bit of an increase from there, but you have inflation as well as the Jeff Gordon bump. So, I don't know if you have noticed that, being not a NASCAR collector.
No, but I have noticed, like, the Finest just came out, baseball, and I went to go order some Finest, and I was like, oh God, what am I going to have to pay this year? And I was so pleasantly surprised because the prices had not been inflated. I was like, oh my God, this is an affordable box with good stuff. Like, this hasn't been around for a while. And that's where I think that the prism tipping point really was it. People trying to just get way too greedy, pricing people as if they were already, Hall of Fame All-Star, top 10 talents of all time, right out of the gate. It's just, you hit that limit with collectors, but I had not seen that in NASCAR, but I did notice it in baseball and basketball. As I went to get the last couple of products, I wasn't near as scared of the price as I saw before, which is good for collectors because, I mean, the MSRP, like Panini, Topps, anyone will tell you, Leaf, whoever, MSRP, that's, around what you should expect to get, maybe a little bit less in a box, it doesn't matter. But, what it was getting to was getting out of control. And so it's nice to see it coming back down to earth a little bit. It's getting a lot more people back into it. I saw boxes being bought like crazy. And one of the things that I loved at the Philly show was I saw boxes being bought and busted by kids like crazy. Like, I'm talking like, I wish I could bust that many boxes as a kid. Maybe I did and I don't remember, but it was a lot.
Yeah, there's a comment here, Bean's Ball Card blog. He says one thing that, in his opinion, hurts NASCAR is no dominant driver like Earnhardt, Gordon, or Johnson. He says he hates it, but dynasties are good for business. But I don't know. We might see the emerging of a dominant driver, Kyle Larson.
Yes.
He's been the last two races. He's won every stage and won the race, as well as the last All-Star race. So, Logan, I'll let you, what's your opinion on Kyle Larson? And is he being dominant?
He's on his way to being a dynasty. If he can keep this up, he's certainly with a good team. You can't hardly beat Hendrick. I mean, I would say the two top teams are going to be Hendrick and Gibbs by far. But he's got the drive. I think he's got something to prove. Especially since he was banned from NASCAR for a year. And I do see him being a force and somebody that I think that most people are going to love, because I've liked him ever since he's come into the hobby. I mean, into the sport, and I think it's good for the sport. I'm glad to see it. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, not only the Kyle Busch, the Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex, those guys. Now we have another name. He's won a few races before. He was a great talent in a moderately good team, but now he's a great driver and a great team. So, and Joe, I was going to ask you, are there any other really dominant players and stuff like maybe in baseball that are, is Ohtani the one to collect now, or is it, too late for him to collect him? Or
Well, I mean, if any rookie this year would do anything, we could start to have a conversation about it. But so far in baseball, it's been ridiculous with the rookie. They have a week or two where they look like they're an all-star, and then they disappear for a month, and then they pop back up for a game. Like, it's nobody's holding one of those Judge or Bellinger seasons where they're going and their slump is 1 or 2 games. Their slumps are weeks. And it probably has a lot to do with last year. Everyone's still getting back onto a regular schedule. I mean, last year, everything threw everything off. You didn't really get to see a lot of these people, a lot of these guys, these rookies, and the guys who were rookies last year are finally seeing what an actual season is, because last year sure as hell wasn't one. So, I mean, a lot of these guys are just getting accustomed to a lot of that stuff. But no, there's a million players. I mean, it depends on the baseball market where you look. If you go the prospecting route, which I'd stay far away from, or if you go the rookie route, there's a lot of guys with a lot of potential, but I don't see the number 2021 in front of the year of the box. I see it as a couple of guys into their second or third years. I haven't seen enough yet, at least, from some of these guys, from anybody at least to say yes. Besides Wander Franco, and he hasn't even played a game in Major League Baseball, Wander Franco is a man among kids, and that kid needs to be called up immediately. I still think he's undervalued, and he's very expensive. But I think Wander Franco cards, you're going to see one insane surge this year because this man's just he's phenomenal. It's unfair. It's unfair to let this kid play in the minors anymore. It's unfair.
Wow.
Yeah, he was here in Memphis not too long ago playing against the Redbirds.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, I'm like you, Drew. I can't believe he hasn't been called up yet. And why is he still playing minor league baseball?
Service league.
Blows my mind.
Service time. It's all about service time so teams can keep an extra year of control over these players. These minor league players are treated like complete commodities and crap. They're a number on a balance sheet. And if you're good, I mean, basically, if you're good, you're worth million. You have a bunch of zeros next to your name. And if you're bad, you got a couple zeros. And so they want to keep the ones, obviously, that have 10 zeros next to it for as long as they can. So they manipulate service time. I mean, that's what it is. And that's why he's there. That's why Kellenic wasn't called up initially. Kellenic should have been up day one. But service time BS, they want to keep him so they have one more year of control. I think that is one thing that I think for baseball, and this can affect the hobby, when you get into labor negotiations, service time is going to be what's going to be big in this labor negotiation. And I think if you don't see both sides really do a lot of conceding and a lot of work together, that could be a contentious point that ends up possibly pausing a season for a little bit, possibly not having a full season, because these guys that go through these minor leagues are getting, Kellenic and Franco are getting screwed out of millions of dollars. They get hit by a pitch tomorrow in the head. Kellenic can't see. That dude just lost hundreds of millions of dollars that he should be able to make. But the way the rules are, he can't. So, service time is all that. It is the only reason that Wander Franco is in minor league baseball. It's just the dumb rules of baseball so owners can keep control over a player for longer.
Yeah, and I guess like you said, just so they don't have to pay him all those extra zeros either.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. He's still under minor league, still under all that stuff. That's why they'll keep him in that single A ball for sometimes when it's a guy that should be playing in triple. Or they'll throw a guy in double just because they don't want him to handle the pitching of the triple, because triple pitching is normally, where the pitching's a little harder. Doubles where you're going to get more hitters. So they throw him in double A and everyone's like, oh, he's just a double A guy. No, it's manipulation of service time. There's so much more to look at when you look at it prospecting. And that's why I stay far away from it in the hobby. And I'm not a fan of prospecting. I love minor league baseball, going to the Dash Grasshoppers game tomorrow to see a couple of very, very good prospects, but it's very risky to me compared to a rookie. But that would be the reason that Wander Franco's not in Major League Baseball.
Hmm.
And he should be.
Well, I was going to ask about, I'm not necessarily a prospector when it comes with baseball. I'm more of a set guy. Now that Series 2 is
Mhm.
released in Topps, we should be seeing, I guess, complete sets. I wonder if Topps going to be doing what they had done last year with some of those random factory sets with, I guess, all parallels in it or whatever.
Oh, there's no way they don't do that again, man. It made money. There's no way they don't do that again. It made them money. Nothing that a card company put out in the last year that made them a cent is going to go away. The only way it does is if Cardamundi and GCI say we can't print it. That's the only way it goes away. If they can get them printed, they'll probably have 3 more parallels too. There will probably be 3 more exclusive designs. There will probably be some gas station design coming soon. I mean, like they're going to milk those complete sets with the parallels because, and it's genius. It's genius because you can put different things in different packs. Like the Targets had the Chrome relics and the Chrome autos and the Chrome, variations. The Walmarts had the 5-pack of the foils. There's so many different things you can put in them to make people chase at different areas, at different stores, to go buy at different places, buying multiple sets. But then it also gives value to them sitting on the shelf because you don't know what's in it, as opposed to, okay, it's just a set with some guys. You know what I mean? Like I think those, you're definitely seeing those this year, 100%.
Yeah, I thought, to your point, I thought it was a very clever marketing, because I hadn't seen a rush for factory sets. I can't tell you how
Yeah.
long.
Oh, I know. They
usually
sat there forever. You could find like 4-year-old ones, and at least in North Carolina ones, you could find like 2013 ones until last year.
So I guess, but usually you don't see that though until I guess it was early July, and like I said, now that Series 2 is out from Top. So
Yeah, another. It's their flagship set, but once again, it's another weird year. I'm looking forward to update because that's when we're gonna get a lot of the bigger new rookies that are going to be coming into this. Series 2, probably going to be able to find Series 2 on the shelves pretty easily, I'm going to assume. But I don't think you will with update because that's when you're going to get service time will be over and a lot of these guys will get called up that deserve to be called up. So you'll have some bigger rookies in probably that. But, it adds to, as a set collector, Series 2, big release for Topps, flagship release. We're going to have Emily on Let Her Rip to do. I believe we might even do a box up Series 2 with her to talk about the flagship product. I'm not sure exactly what box we're going to be opening when she's on, but she's going to be on a little later this month to go over that and go over what's coming up and everything in Topps. But they got a lot of stuff coming on. But as far as those, as far as them not making those parallel sets and stuff again, no, man, those are here to stay. You can have gold stars, red stars, blue stars, yellow stars. We got a caller on the line. Got about a couple minutes left on the show. Awesome. Chris Harris joining the show. What's up,
he's at
Chris?
I wish I would have known he's going to be at the Raleigh show.
Well, Chris Harris was. Ooh. I know what's happening because I had this problem in Philly. Chris Harris is there trying to go live at a show, and the damn Wi-Fi is being taken up by the 800 people looking at eBay comps. And so it's sitting there saying, we're establishing your connection. I just dealt with this issue for 2 shows in a row. So I get what's going on. Chris Harris will be joining us in a few moments. If you guys go overtime, I've got some stuff with the little one today. But there he is. I believe we might have Chris Harris. Let's see. Oh, we'll see. But anyway, if Chris Harris, if his Wi-Fi at the show will allow him. But I think that's pretty cool. One just right here, we're talking about Hobby Palooza at the beginning of the show. We'll talk about something about the Philly show. You're going to a show a little later today. Chris is at a show. You've got the Raleigh show going on today. This is all in like one state. Like this stuff's going on everywhere, and I love it. I love seeing the excitement, and they're all strong. All of these shows, I've yet to go to a show where there might not be 1 million people there, but they're doing their thing. I mean, there's deals being made, there's stuff being moved, and I love to see it. Let's see if Chris Harris is in. No, let's see. Okay, now he's trying to call in again, so we're gonna see if we can get Chris Harris on the line.
But Drew, to your point, it's amazing what the hobby was before the pandemic and now after the pandemic. It's just unbelievable. The crowds at the shows. Like I said, went to a few shows. The Dallas show was just like mini national, and then we had that show in Salisbury. A lot of tables, a lot of because it's the way the Inside Pitch Promotions does it's a card and toy show, so there's a lot of kids, families, and it is just awesome to see. So is Chris still having trouble?
Yeah, it looks like Chris is having trouble. He's at a show today, right?
Yeah, he's at the Raleigh.
Okay, so he was just calling in with an update from the Raleigh show, I believe. Chris will pull you in, see if it works. Yeah, it looks like their Wi-Fi is going to screw you. That's exactly what's going on. Happened to me 1,000,000 times. But, guys,
you're talking about this infrastructure. One of the things I was thinking about is, the National and the Donald Stevens Convention Center.
Oh God.
Are they gonna, what's their Wi-Fi infrastructure going to be like? Is it going to be the same if it's the same as it has been? It's not going to be good.
It's dead. Well, forget the Wi-Fi infrastructure, security. I mean, anything. Just the people that they couldn't handle it 2 years ago, how many years ago? What are they going to do now? We were talking about this all weekend. We were like, this is going to be terrifying unless they've upped this like tenfold and really hired some incredible companies. I mean, I talked to a rep at the National on a very regular basis and talked to them a little bit about it. They're a little concerned, on some areas of everything, but you've got to spread the show out. Like the amount of people that are going to be there, you've got to spread this stuff out. And we do have him now. Chris Harris is on the lines. I'm going to bring him in. And guys, I'm actually going to bounce out because I have to take Jude to a trampoline park before I get in trouble as a dad.
All right.
So, it's been nice, guys. Chris,
happy
what's up,
Father's
buddy?
Day.
Well,
no bueno.
No, you just can't get in this.
Try him again.
And he's there. No Chris Harris.
Come on, Chris.
All right, guys. Well, I've got to bounce. So
Okay.
Should we wrap up or do you want to wait for Chris?
We'll try him one more time.
Yep. He's having the Wi-Fi issue at any show. This is what's going to be happening at Dallas, except for at the Breaker Pavilion for everybody. Or not Dallas, Chicago. This is exactly what's going to be happening to everyone trying to do this stuff that's not at Breaker Pavilion where they get their own hardwire. And that's the problem.
Okay.
That's the problem. And you got 8 million people at that show. I mean, you got probably 1,000 people at that show right now on eBay. So, I mean, eBay loves card shows. You know how many people are on that phone checking an eBay comp at a card show? That's their biggest traffic days or shows like that. They love it. Yeah. And so when you got so many people, this is what happens. And so, that's what it is. But yeah. Well, Chris, I hope the Raleigh show is good, my friend. Val, I'll let y'all wrap everything up.
Well, I was going to say to wrap it up and give everybody some little bit of time back, all the fathers. And happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yes, happy Father's Day. Hope everybody has a good one. Do something fun. Have a lot of fun. If you're a new father, cherish it. It's awesome. It's one of the best days of the year. I know Jude and I are gonna go have a ton of fun. So I hope you guys all do as well. Hit up some shows. Hit up. Make some deals online. Do some stuff. Get active again. Get excited again. The hobby. A lot of people like to keep it down sometime, but the hobby's doing wonderful. So let's keep it up. But thanks everybody for tuning in today, and make sure to check out all the info again about Hobby Palooza. And thanks, Mike, once again for joining the show, and John Newman for dropping in and setting that up so we could get that interview and a little bit more information about that. And we could not be more honored to be the show chosen to kick the event off. That's awesome. So really looking forward to that as well. But thank you guys so much. And well, we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Happy Father's Day.